Being nervous actually kept me very tense. Kate Bush. A well-adjusted person is one who makes the same mistake twice without getting nervous. Alexander Hamilton. To be nervous is to lose half the battle. To be nervous is to burn mental energy to no useful purpose. J.P. Vaswani. The way to secure success is to be more anxious about obtaining than about deserving it. William Hazlitt. Every time you go out there, you want to be a little nervous, have a little bit of butterflies in your stomach and get the juices flowing. Taryn Moa. If you go to a game nervous, you make a mistake. Miguel Cabrera. If you're not just a little bit nervous before a match, you probably don't have the expectations of yourself that you should have. Hale Irwin. Being nervous isn't bad. It just means something important is happening. Michael Jordan. Don't try to be what you're not. If you're nervous, be nervous. If you're shy, be shy. It's cute. Adriana Lima. One of the symptoms of an approaching nervous breakdown is the belief that one's work is terribly important. Bertrand Russell. The sad truth is that excellence makes people nervous. Shauna Alexander. My advice to people today is as follows: if you take the game of life seriously, if you take your nervous system seriously, if you take your sense organs seriously, if you take the energy process seriously, you must turn on, tune in, and drop out. Timothy Leary. I get nervous when I don't get nervous. If I'm nervous, I know I'm going to have a good show. Beyonce Knowles. Sometimes when you're just thrown into something, you are more ready for it than when you have time to think it over and get nervous about it. Laura Flynn Boyle. I get more anxious than nervous before a concert. Miley Cyrus. Lust is to the other passions what the nervous fluid is to life. It supports them all, lends strength to them all. Ambition, cruelty, avarice, revenge, are all founded on lust. Marquis de Sade. The first time I played the Masters, I was so nervous I drank a bottle of rum before I teed off. I shot the happiest 83 of my life. Chichi Rodriguez. Being nervous isn't bad. It just means something important is happening. Michael Jordan. A baseball game is simply a nervous breakdown divided into 9 innings. Earl Wilson. I get nervous around girls for the first time. Once I'm in, I can take the reins and go. It's just the initial approach I'm really bad at. Jensen Ackles. I was very nervous about going up to teach at Stanford and very nervous even about going to ARPA. Vinton Cerf. My nervous system is enfeebled, only work in oils can sustain me. Paul Cézanne. If I didn't think, I'd be much happier. If I didn't have any sex organs, I wouldn't waver on the brink of nervous emotion and tears all the time. Sylvia Plath. I'm always rather nervous about how you talk about women who are active in politics, whether they want to be talked about as women or as politicians. John F. Kennedy. But that day I was anxious. I was nervous and worried, uneasy and distracted. I paced around and never felt settled. I didn't care for the sensation, yet I realized it was possibly a natural progression of my evolving soul, and therefore I tried my best to embrace it. Garth Stein. Everything makes me nervous, except making films. Elizabeth Taylor. Kids who go to normal school are so teenagery, so angsty. Jaden Smith. I'm very used to playing the tomboy or the sarcastic cynic. That's my go-to. Playing the vulnerable of a real girl that's in real woman-like situations, where it's romanticized, I'm a little nervous about it. Kristen Bell. I think Hannah gets nervous just like any other person would. She's like a dork, personally. She's just really, really fun. Miley Cyrus. Don't try to be what you're not. If you're nervous, be nervous. If you're shy, be shy. It's cute. Adriana Lima. I get more anxious than nervous before a concert. Miley Cyrus. My advice to people today is as follows: if you take the game of life seriously, if you take your nervous system seriously, if you take your sense organs seriously, if you take the energy process seriously, you must turn on, tune in, and drop out. Timothy Leary. I think Hannah gets nervous just like any other person would. She's like a dork, personally. She's just really, really fun. Miley Cyrus. That nervous feeling when you think about that certain someone and how you're about to see them soon. Limbic consonance is the little-known process through which the mood of a room changes when a happy or nervous person walks in. Douglas Rushkoff, Team Human. Babies used to make me nervous, but these squirmy things are awesome once you've read the manual. Author, David Z. Hirsch. I'm not suggesting the world is good, that life is easy, or that any of us are entitled to better. But please, isn't this the kind of thing you talk about in somber tones, in the afternoon, with some degree of hope and maybe even a handful of strategies? Author, Richard Sykin. If you're not nervous, then you're not paying attention. The mind that is anxious about the future is miserable. Lucius Aeus Seneca. To talk to someone who does not listen is enough to tense the devil. Nervousness made her feel nauseous, almost like she had two hearts frantically beating in her chest, instead of one. When you feel afraid or nervous to do a thing, then do it, because the real harm which you may thus receive is less poignant than its expectation and fear. A bad liver is to a Frenchman what a nervous breakdown is to an American. Everyone has had one and everyone wants to talk about it. A nervous silence loosens tongues, Jacqueline Carey, Cushiel's Chosen.